How am I doing? You good to go on Vision with me?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay. So naturally, we've still got the Christmas decorations up. So good morning, everybody. So this is open Q&A. This is probably one of my favorite things to do. I just love it. Just take the gloves off and ask anything. And let's go. Let's jump into it. So before we do that politically, we saw all that stuff that's going. It's been going on for a long time. My only feeling is, I definitely have a way of thinking and aligning, but I really think that, everybody's blaming the politicians for what's happening, and they're taking our country, and it really isn't. We've allowed it to happen, and they've caused divide that we've allowed to happen. So it starts at, if we keep doing this to the other side of your friends and so forth, is all it's going to do is cause more divide. And we have major problems. There's no doubt is that I don't know what we've become. You can see I'm kind of lost for words, but on the loss of actions, I'm just not going to provoke people. I'm not going to take and engage, and I'm gonna speak out with my dollars and my support to the people and the causes that I believe in, and I'm just gonna love people. And if last night I had to go in and silence some people on social media, and I didn't delete them or anything like that, nothing rash, but just the next 30 days, it'll be good not to see their stuff, because it's people I really care for. And it's just, they're upset, they're visually upset. And so, I don't condone violence. It's got to be the extreme cases. I think some of our politicians last night that I've got a lot of respect for, I lost some respect for. Some politicians that I didn't have much respect for, I gained respect for. There's some people that really calm things down. And I'm hoping that with these new times about to hit us, that we can unite and we can bring ourselves together. So there's my political statement. The other thing is be happy, man, is who's in office. I'm 54 years old, and who's been in office really has it. They influence our lives in the major ways over time. But on our day-to-day lives, none of them have made me lift my mouth up and smile and love the people around me and love my own life and love what I'm doing and going out and having fun. They just don't affect it. They don't tell me not to go skiing or to go skiing. Now, they could affect it by me not having the money to do it. But again, that comes into your vote. So, okay, so let's jump into it. I had a couple really great questions that were thrown over to me on text.
Real quick, before we get into the first one, I just want to give a quick shout out to Jessica Rook. Her and her husband are on the road coming from Michigan all the way out to Big Bear, because they're going to be training with us next week. And they stopped in Edgewood, New Mexico right now to listen to this.
How cool is that? Well, we can't wait to see you guys next on Monday and get going. We're going to go hard with you guys. We've got a great week planned, some great cars lined up. And it will be the classes, the people just keep getting better and better. And so, again, it's just like you guys, out there. It's your customer base. Is build up the customers that you'd want to hang out with, and it makes it a lot easier. So, all right. So, Chris, anything juicy that you want to take in the first Q&A that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, one of the first ones that came through is from Jose, and he he asked, with pending shutdowns again, what's your advice? What do you think we should be doing?
Oh, that's a great question. So, California, we are shut down. Anybody that lives in California, Chris, are we shut down?
Man, the traffic is worse than ever again.
It's people are going out. Now, we're being real safe. So here's the thing is, a lot of you guys don't know is that I serve in the Guard, the Cal Guard. And in the State Guard, we get a lot of reports and so forth. This thing is very real. I've got one of my very young medics that's got it right now. And so the first thing to do is take care of yourself. Don't be ignorant. This thing is definitely, I know there's a lot of talk and chatter, but it's getting people. And my medic was one of those like me that was kind of poo-pooing the whole COVID thing. And then when he came down with it, his partner gave it to him. Not partner, his work partner was exposed, and then he got it immediately. It's turned into pneumonia, and he's going to be okay, but he's fighting, and he's going to be out of work for a while. So the first thing to do is be reasonable. Get those hands washed. Stay away from people. When people come into trainings now, we basically segregate ourselves. There's no going out. We don't go to lunch. We don't go to dinner. We don't go out to bar. We don't go even if they're open, we don't go because we want to protect each other. Now, on a personal note, I do go out and support small businesses. That leads into supporting your small business. guys, it's simple. Last year I came out with a statement 1 week into this thing and said, hey, if you don't have proper PPE protection, breathing, gloves, now a set of coveralls, just painter coveralls, and the right disinfectant that is certified to kill COVID, you weren't essential. We're going to find that already in the UK, valeters are getting shut down unless they are taking and working with EMS, law enforcement, or medical personnel coming back and forth to work. Well, guess what? That means that if you've got the right product that kills the stuff, and it's not expensive, it's easy to find. There seems to be an adequate supply chain of it now. And you've got masks to cover yourself up. You can see neck gaiters and everything else is what I wear. And you've got gloves. And I would say, again, a pair of coveralls, just so you can take them off, wash them in between. I'd have several sets. That way you don't get in and contaminate a car and go to work. There's no way. We shut down. A lot of people criticize me for saying that. Listen, none of you guys, Monday morning quarterbacks, I work with some of the smartest guys. Keith Duplessis does the same thing. He's with the medical engineering group. None of the scientists knew what this thing was or how to deal with it or how it was going to spread. And so we erred on the side of caution. I never said to shut down. I just said to shut down unless you found yourself essential. There's how to be essential business. Would I shut down if they came in and told me to? No. I'm going to stand up to them and tell them screw off. We're supporting even local restaurants that are opened up. We go in and safely, I won't win a groups here. We've already shut ourselves down to that because we've got students coming in. So 2 weeks out, we don't do anything just to protect our students, just in case. It's just good common sense. And so that's why I tell you to keep safe, because you don't want to be the spreader. You don't want to be the person on the news. But am I going to shut down? Absolutely not. Do I stand behind what I said last year in week 1? Yeah, we didn't know what it was. By week 4, I was like, this is bullshit, and another shutdown is not going to work. Is this thing, it's going to have to do its course. If you've got loved ones at home that are susceptible to it, or you yourself are, you got to be careful. You got to be really careful. Again, my medic friend, it's the real deal. He's in his 30s, guys, very healthy, very fit, used all the protocol, and he still got it. And it's not gonna kill him, thank God, but it has taken a lot of people's lives, and we got to be careful with it. So to stay essential, have the right product to kill it. Steam doesn't kill it. Steam I wouldn't even blow steam on it. I just use a disinfectant that's certified for COVID. There's a lot of them out there. Just do some research. It's not real expensive per gallon. We're using, I think we're using 4 to 7 ounces per car to completely, and it takes us about 15, 20 minutes to completely disinfect the car and know that we've killed the virus, at least the strain of it. We're doing so with eye protection, breathing protection, clothing, and gloves. There you go. They're essential. I got a letter recently. I'm gonna have somebody, an attorney, review it. It's a city in Texas or a county, one or the other. I can't recall. That has approved auto detailers as being essential. If this thing, if it looks clean and there's no liability in me releasing it, I'll release it for other people to use. But there might be some liability where I can't do that, but we'll see. We're going to go to the parties that wrote it, the parties that sent it to us, and in our own legal, and see if we can send it out there. But there are counties and cities that are recognizing our industry, car care, as being essential. And I think it's really important that moving forward is that we think about that when we name our companies, when our taglines and everything else, is a name says a lot. And so just be careful out there and don't shut down. I mean, unless you've got somebody at home that's going to get sick from you, that's going to be a personal call. But for those that want to go on, but here's the deal: is there's a lot of people out there. I see people detailing and they're getting in and out of cars and they have no protection on. That's silly, because it is a real virus. We've got people I know, that very healthy people that are in their 30s that got really sick from this. So, okay, I hope that helps. And
we got it. We got a few questions coming in. I'm going to go to some that are related to that topic and see if I could bring it up on the screen here.
Cool.
Rick Walling asks, do you know the latest information on how the virus is living on different surfaces?
It's from what we're seeing, it's not as strong as they thought. Different surfaces. My buddy that just got sick, we were having a discussion in our unit, And basically what he said, if he had to do it again, is that anytime that he went into a public place, the only thing he'd do different, he's masking up when he goes into public, is he'd probably put gloves on and just dispose of the gloves when he walked outside. And he would cleanse the gloves before he even touched them. You know, as medics, they teach us how to take the gloves off. You don't want to touch the gloves. So he has that down. But I asked him that. I said, hey, I'm going to probably get questions today. What would you tell people to do? Now, this is one of the lead paramedics for the largest county in the United States. So this is no joke. And so he just said, hey, man, the simple thing is that probably I got it from being lazy. I'd probably wash, anytime that you're going anywhere in the public, mask up when you're around other people, make sure that I probably glove up just to make sure, because, you go into the supermarkets and stuff, and are they really cleaning those carts? I mean, you can get it and clean it off. But friction a lot, Rick, to go back to that, is that the reason why they came out with soap and to wash your hands is it's not the soap that kills it. It's not the warm water that kills it. It's the friction. That's why they want you to do it for 30 seconds. It's the friction that breaks that casing, and it's done. And so, I think every surface, I think that it's lasting differently on other surfaces. But CDC, I'd go back and probably send you the CDC. But again, we've got chemicals that we know of that when this thing first broke out, the first few weeks, a lot of us didn't have them. We had it in stock, but we weren't sure if it was gonna take and kill this strain of corona. We just didn't know, or COVID. We didn't know if it would, so we couldn't say anything, because again, then it comes back on us. But on most surfaces, from what we're being told in search and rescue, is that it's the 72 hours is the magic number. Is that at 72 hours, it's of just sitting, and if it's in sun or if it's in heat, I guess that it affects that. But that's kind of the number that we're playing. If we get in contact with anything that's been contaminated under that, we're going to PP up. If it's more than, I still do, I just play safe, because I've got a brother that's probably a little bit, it could cause him some issues. He's still pretty healthy, but he's had some issues that I just don't want to take a chance. So, I play it safe. When I'm out walking the dogs and stuff, I do my natural thing. But when in public, it's just a respect thing for me. And so I'm going to say, Rick, it's probably about the same as it has been.
I haven't heard much new either. I do know at one point they were talking that it wasn't as easy to transmit on hard surfaces as they once thought. But I haven't heard any numbers.
The problem I think that we face in the automotive industry of people getting in and out of cars is probably the cabin filter of somebody that is coughs or sneezes or rubs their nose, and it gets onto something and it sucks it into the airway, into the air system. Is that you got the ducts and everything else? Is that I'd probably be a little bit, that might be an issue. But again, I think that you do your best, and guys, we could walk off a curb today and eat shit and break our necks, So I mean, but you got to use precautions and be careful. Don't be foolish with this thing, and your customers too, man. Is perceived value. Is that when you might live in an area that's totally this is bullshit, but the thing is that if they've got a relative that's susceptible to this crap, and it comes from you, how are you going to feel? Is just play it safe, Yep. No other reason not to, and go get the right personal protection equipment and get some sauce that kills it, not some snake oil sauce. Get the real deal and go to work. Go make some money. You can stay essential, but you're going to have to fight it. If this thing, I just heard an interview. I went back and looked last night, and we're being told by the administration coming in that there could be a shutdown, a nationwide shutdown. So if it goes like California, it's kind of business as usual. We had to get up our mountain where last night I had to come up. I was having some problems with the Subi, and I came back up the mountain, and it took me 45 minutes to get from the base of the mountain to my house. And on New Year's Eve, it was a 7-hour drive.
Yeah, I've seen that road when it's bumper to bumper.
7-hour drive. So people, that tells you how well the shutdown's going and going to go. People are done. And I'm not going to go into if it works, doesn't work, anything else. Doesn't matter. People are done. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what you think. People are moving on and going at it, and that's all we got to be concerned with. So I hope that helps.
JD asked, what are your thoughts on using fogging devices that go with things like the Chief Steamer and disinfectant that they were able to purchase from PNS as a last step on interiors?
Absolutely. Especially, the dwell time on most of these products that kill COVID is going to be about 10 minutes. You got to keep it damp or wet for 10 minutes. As long as you follow the manufacturer's instructions, you're good to go. They're great. Electrostatics, and I know there's a lot of guys using electrostatics out there. I use air just because it's widely available, and so you go down to Harbor Freight and you can get into sterilization. And I wouldn't get into my personal thing is I wouldn't be saying I'm sterilizing cars. I just wouldn't go there. I would just sterilize cars to protect your staff, and your customers. But more importantly, what I'm really after is to stay essential. You really need to do it because you don't want to take and falsely advertise and say you're doing it and you're not doing it. That'd be bad. And so that product, as long as there's a lot of JD. It's great. It's a great system, and it's you can get into it. A couple $100, guys, all in. I mean, maybe 300 if you want to get multiple Tyvek suits or multiple overalls. I'm not sure I'd even go Tyvek. I think I'd go painters or overalls, and just wash them because the CDC says that wash clothes. It protects your underclothes from getting anything on it. You take those off, you throw them in a bag. You take them to the shop or home. You just throw them directly into the washer when you get home, dry them, and they're good to go for the next day. I wouldn't use them on multiple cars. I'd have multiple sets.
Yep. Bill Quinn's got a question, I think, related to this. Is Finisher a good product to use? I'm pretty sure it's a good product to use to finish stuff up, but not as a last touch to kill COVID.
Yeah, no. Finishers in our 3-part lineup for carpets and upholstery, and it's a neutralizer, but it will not. Yeah, against COVID, it's not going to work. It's great for finishing it up and making sure that you neutralize all the chemicals that you've put in there, or chemicals even. A lot of people don't think about what is your customers used to get stains out that isn't neutralized, that you're still not neutralizing. So it's Finisher's great for that, but not for COVID. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Okay, so let's go to something else, and then we'll come back on any COVID things towards the end if we have time. I think we're going to beat that to death.
That's cool. Here we go. So one of the early questions came in from Jimmy is, when can we see a double black line of sealant and wax from PNS in addition to Beadmaker?
We're actually working on a couple of different things, so we've got our coating line really grew this year as we went from just our inspiration. And, a lot of people don't realize we've updated the product that's in the bottle a couple times. We've done without even saying anything. We've just made it better and better and better. But with that, we've introduced Soul, which is our topper, or it's a 1-year coating, or it's a serious enthusiast. Pretty easy to use. You can do it in the garage. It's got a slow flash point on it. It doesn't flash really fast. It's really easy to apply. It gives an insane shine. So it can be used as a standalone. We've got our View, and our View we've got Clarity Cream. It's really a system. Is that you want to get the whole system? Is Clarity Cream? You want to take on View. You want to take and make sure the glass is clean. So I like to clay it. I go over it at a real slow speed with Clarity Cream on a polisher just to get all the imperfections out, any hard water and so forth out of there. And then we go to View. And I like to put 2 layers of View on half an hour apart, and then 1 to 2 hours later, top it with Beadmaker. Don't get it on the windshield wiper blades. Don't set the windshield wiper blades down and allow the windshield wiper blades to come in contact with View, because it'll make those blades hard. And so there it is. And then we've got a new product that's coming out that is our most advanced coating. That's going to be out probably by March, and we're pretty excited about it because it's badass. This coating is a beast. And then we've got a couple other things. We've got we're constantly looking at improving and trying to see if the problem with going with an update to Beadmaker is everybody says longevity. Your costs go up, and so just stacking Beadmaker's been so easy, and then also kind of getting enough SiO2 in there to really morally and ethically be able to call it a spray coating. So we want to make sure that we feel good. Dave's very moral and ethical of calling things by its proper what it is. Technically, I mean, bead maker's got SiO2 in it. It's just at such low numbers that none of us felt comfortable saying that it was an SiO2 spray. And I think a lot of people just throw that out there, and they probably got the same amount or even less SiO2 than we do. We just morally and ethically are going to stick to our guns. An update to it, we're always working on it. We're engineering some things right now. We're constantly testing things, and we're working real hard towards that. We always want to have it. So any ideas that you've got, shoot them over to us. We'd love to hear them.
Hey, Jimmy, I'll circle back on PNS Soul. That's the 1 year coating. That thing is so easy to apply. It really isn't too much more difficult than just applying a sealant. It will take you a little extra time, and that's a really good upsell to your customers. You should be able to get a starting price of $150 on top of any prep work you do, just for a quick application of that. So I would check into that.
It's really something. And we got, our interior coating is super cost effective and super easy. William Lara out of Miami just did a video with it. And it's Miami Lux. If you guys want to go check it out, I think I shared it. If I didn't, I will. But man, this fabric coating, he used it on a convertible top, which we've used it on a lot also. And it's super cost effective, super easy. The thing that people don't realize with interior coatings is the wear and tear on them. Your booty sliding across it, your feet sliding across it. Contact, and it's a softer surface, really wears interior coatings down quite rapidly. We wanted to develop something that could be reapplied pretty easily and cost-effective wise and wouldn't cost a fortune. And again, truth in advertising, that it's one of my favorite products. It doesn't get much play just because we get busy, right, with all the popular products and everything else. But man, there's no other way to make $100 easier than that. Is interior coatings. It is so easy to make, $100, $150, $200, whatever you want to, whatever your market will bear it's there. It's just really easy to do.
Sweet. Hey, I got a good one here from Barry. I think I know the answers, but so Barry asked, what do you think made the biggest impact on detailing in the last 10 years? And what do you think will be the biggest impact in the next 10 years?
Oh, I'm going to split this. I'm going to split it into product, and I'm going to split it into three. I'm going to split it into product. I'm going to split it into education, and I'm going to split it into tools. I think the thing that started the revolution of changing us was coatings. I really think that it's put us at a spot where we can be. I put a controversial post up where I showed paint correction that we've done in training it. And the students did. I didn't do it. The students did it. Is that if there's one person working on it, they would have done about 200 because it was damaged, and because of the extra cost involved in sanding and everything else, and then coating it. Is that it was their performance was just at $200 an hour, and coatings have allowed us to hit those numbers. It's just insane. And a lot of people go back, and I talk to a lot of people, and ask yourself this. Anybody that's watching right now, Chris, I don't know if you've ever heard me ask this question or not. Go back and tell me, okay, when did really coatings hit the market? Give me the answer. What year did coatings really hit the market? What year did coatings start affecting your business? So I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and I dare any of you to put it in the response. I'd love to have you guys put it in the response, to be honest. Here's when it hit our business, 2004. A lot of people put 2011, 12, 13, and 14. But we started playing around with coatings, and it wasn't that we were badass. We were progressive. We were active in shops at that time. We had several shops that were operating, and people were coming to us. I spoke at events all over the world, and we just got exposure early on. We were right place, right time. I'd love to say I was the genius that figured that. No, we just right place, right time. But coatings changed it. Then on the tool side of things, Rupes showed us how to be sexy. Rupesh came out with a line of tools. Rupesh started, we've been training for many, many years by then. Rupesh took the training and education to a new level. They impacted my business greatly, my training business. But more so, Rupesh brought a level of confidence, I would call it, to the industry that allowed us to charge more. They just, Rupesh, I will tell you this, is what is Apple products? So Chris, what kind of company is Apple products? I'm going to set you up. Can you tell?
What kind of company are they? I mean, besides electronics.
You're going that direction.
Man.
A lot of people say they're a phone company, they're a computer company, they're a marketing company.
Well, yeah.
They're a marketing company. They did a great job. They're a connection company. They connected people. They got fan base like nobody else in the industry has. Look at, I'm on one right now. Is Rupesh, great products, or I would have one, right? Starbucks, which I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks, and I don't really particularly like their coffee, but Starbucks, what are they? They're a marketing company. I mean, who else? Think about it. But Rupesh really got out there, and they did a great job, better than anything that anybody had ever done. They marketed really, really well. And now a lot of companies have gone out there. You look at what even our company, Double Black, what we've done. You look at what Barry's company's done. You look at the difference that of marketing and high angle of what IGL has done. And I'm leaving so many out there. I mean, you talk about one of the early ones that came on the scene that really, when Rupesh started coming on the scene and changing things, all of us were kind of going, whoa, wow. Kevin and Michelle came in, Detailers Helpers. They're a belt system, great belt system. We use them on big projects. Not like we couldn't do Air Force One. Not that we couldn't do Air Force One with it. I'd hate to do Air Force One without them. But what are they? Kevin's a marketer, man, and he connected himself with other people. And Michelle's right there, and she made herself widely available and got into the Jeep, and I think Rupesh just launched something, but really it was a trifecta. Then the education is that I think when people started seeing the value, and again, some people won't, man. I mean, this kind of a negative thing went down on one of our posts, but it turned positive. But is that, hey man, if you don't value education, that's fine. But I can tell you this is that we got dudes in our group and outside of our group. I'm sure if Jason Rose is watching right now, he's got guys that he's trained that are doing 150, 200 bucks an hour. There's guys on this call right now on this live event that are doing 150, 200, maybe 250, maybe 300. I don't know. And there's guys on this call that are doing 50, 75, and 100 because they're just getting their start or they're just opening their eyes up to the opportunities. That's all cool stuff, man. That wasn't happening. So I think that the trifecta of that is I think companies like Rupesh now, you've got Flex that's trying to up their game. Everybody did. Rupesh, the best thing that ever happened to us was in the industry. One of the best things was Coatings and Rupesh because Rupesh lit everybody's butt to develop us better tools. Now they're better products, and so it just keeps going on. So education, Rupesh, and Coatings. I'd say those are the biggest impacts. Going ahead, I would say those same things are going to be impacts for the next decade. I think that, I'm an educated guy. Chris, you've got a bachelor's degree. I've got a bachelor's and a master's degree. I got them late in life, but I got them. And I'll tell you, my street degrees are worth a lot more to me. I mean, a lot more to me. The things I've learned of as a kid growing up the way I did, and then of coming through detailing. Another thing I said something that kind of a couple guys ran off on in another direction. And I said, it used to be a time when I was embarrassed to be a detailer. Rick Walling, you're on the call. You'll understand what I'm talking about because you younger guys, you don't understand what guys our age went through. You got to remember there was movies making fun of detailers. Back to the Future, Biff out there waxing his car. That wasn't complimentary. That was a slam. And there was a time where I was embarrassed to be a detailer. The day that I stopped being embarrassed and decided to be proud, guess what? My income went up. So those that think that was oh my God, have you ever been embarrassed about that? I've never been. Well, you know what? That's because you're standing on other freaking people's shoulders when you came into it 20 years after we did or 30 years after we did. And I'm not asking for thanks. I don't need that. But you know what? You better wake up, because that's what the facts were, Junior. And you just were sitting there picking your nose when we were getting ragged on. That's why you don't know. And so that kind of pissed me off. Can you tell?
Hey, I got some years coming in here. When your question about coatings and when they started popping up, I got 2004, 12, 13, 2004 Perez Brothers Detailing.
Oh yeah, there you go. Not that, going back, way back. That's cool. I know Israel and I were one of the early conversations going back like 2010. We're into it. Let me tell you, and I won't name the brand. And I don't mean to interrupt you, Chris. One of the first coatings I ever used. You guys know what the liquid cement is that you take out and brush on? That's coatings. It was nasty. And the first couple ones, like, it didn't look too good. And they started refining them and refining them and refining them. And honestly, the first ones weren't too great. And I'm going to give her credit where credit's due, because I preach that. Is Dr. G, man. Dr. G, he revolutionized coatings for us. I don't care who says what. That dude with OptiCoat is that he put it on, at least here in the United States, he put it on the map. OptiCoat really put it on the map, and their group and their team did a fantastic job back in the day of educating and bringing out great products. And look what's happened from now. And you look at, okay, give credit where credit's due, is in the early days of Ceramic Pro. You can rag on Ceramic Pro all you want, man, but their marketing company, again, Peter and his team just killed it. Now IGL, killed it. We're a chemical company that happened to start have a coating. Now we got a coating line, and guess what? You guys are going to hear a lot more about that. So, okay.
I got a really good question here. One of my favorite products, Paint Prep. Gene asked, when will Paint Prep be available in gallons? And Gene, it actually is and has been for a while.
Yep.
It's just not super easy to find for some reason. But if you check your local P&S distributor, they should have some and can definitely get you some.
And some of our online suppliers also have it too. And the reason why it's hard to get is it sells out really quick, because this stuff is great. So Paint Prep is for those that don't know what it is, it's our product that's used before you coat. Excuse me, guys. It's our product you use to coat. It's a wax grease remover. And so it's going to remove it. But I use it in between each corrective step to get all the impurities out. And it's a damn good glass cleaner, and it's a great clay lube too. So that's why we sell a lot of it.
Yep. So there you go.
Okay.
Let's see. Kind of answered this one already, but I just want to let Victor know that we talked about it. How do you see our industry being affected if the nation shuts down again, or if they're implemented?
Go back and listen to this.
Yeah, go back to the beginning of this. We talked about it, but just wanted to give you a heads up there.
Make yourself essential. I'll end it with that, Victor. Make yourself essential. Go back and listen to this. Make yourself essential and just refuse. Simple as that. But you got to make yourself essential, and going out and spraying. Listen, man, we are the first detailers to bring steam in. I can't say that. Scotty, my buddy, was first because he got his credit card out faster. We were one of the first to bring steam in. Steam doesn't work on this shit. Stop putting steam up that it works. Matter of fact, I think it makes it worse. It pushes it all in the air. You guys are nuts. Go use a registered chemical that's registered from the government and use that shit. It's out there everywhere. It's all over the place now.
William asks, what services out of the normal, so add-on services, would you recommend to detailers to help them through these times?
Oh, I'll tell you what. That's a great, William. It's a great question. Hi, buddy. Miss you. I would tell you this, I'll tell you how we built up our clientele in the tough times, because we've lived through several slowdowns, right? It was interiors with wash clays and waxes, believe it or not. It's just, we use, in our trainings, we teach people to lightly and gently play with bead maker, and people just, it pops the color. They got shiny swirls. There's no paint correction in it. But when times really got tough, several times through our history, is we would actually take and give that away during the winter months or tough times. we would say, hey, anybody that gets an interior, stage 1, 2, or 3, we're going to throw in a wash, clean, wax for you at no additional charge. What it did over the wintertime is it allowed us to train our customers to get their cars detailed in the wintertime, to get their cars detailed when times were tough, because it made the cars nicer, it held their value better, and it was at a price point. And you know what? We've got guys in our group right now that are at $75 to $125 an hour doing that and not touching a machine. They do steam, but they're not touching a polisher. So it can be done. We got guys that are $50 to $75 an hour. I'm going to tell you right now, we ran the numbers. We ran numbers when a young man was here. If you're running a legit company and you're paying your taxes and you've got insurance is not expensive. You guys think insurance is expensive? Wait till you damage something you don't have insurance. If you think that you can't afford workers' comp or to pay taxes on an employee, wait until that employee gets hurt and the state comes after you, the government comes after you. Those are all cheap things. Listen, if you're not at $50 an hour now, almost isn't making it. If you're truly professional, if you're truly professional and you're above the ground and you're paying all your taxes as you should be, if you're a business, if you're calling yourself a business, you need to be legit. Did I in the very opening months? No, man. I snuck by for a few months. We're lucky it didn't catch us. I did not screw around with workers' comp stuff, though. That I never screwed around with. And once it got legitimate, we got on the radar and we stayed on the radar. And so $50, even if you're mobile, and you guys that are mobile that think you can be cheaper than the fixed locations, a lot of times your operating expenses are just as high, because especially if you're in California, because of travel times and fuel. And so don't kid yourself. So I love simple, like undercarriage washes, engine cleanings, wash clays, waxes, and then also marketing, getting your brand up to where you become to where you are an item like lawn care or people that come in and clean a house, to where they are so dependent on having you do the services. Your service is one that they don't give up. It's about caring about people, selling them only what they need. There's so many great services, add-on services. The other thing is when times, and I don't know if things are going to, God, I know there's a lot of people hurting from COVID, but there's a lot of people that have done well too. And I don't know what to expect with the economy, but I would start adding on, if you hit a convertible, is use ragtop products and clean it up, and then use their products to either seal it or use our interior coating to coat it. Excuse me. Simple add-on services like that. It's convertible. It's right there. Glass coatings. Glass coatings are amazing, and they've come such a long ways. I originally did my WRX 9 months ago, and I live in the mountains, and we've got decomposed granite, and it just strips things off the windshields. And it's to the point now it needs to be done. Matter of fact, we might have just done it. We might have just done it in the last training. But it was getting to the point at 9 months, it was pretty, that's amazing. That to have people come back in for that service, get them addicted. Those are the kind of things you're going to get addicted to. Interior coatings, add those kind of that upsell up. Cleaning the headliner, add that upsell up. Regular maintenance, having them come in and do a prepaid every first of the month. That you hit their credit card, and every week or every other week you're out servicing their car. Don't get in the car wash business. Get in the membership business. Sell them a membership and be elite. Our business cards were gold medallions. We didn't have business cards, as we gave those gold medallions out to only people that would qualify for our membership program. And it created so much hype, just like an iPhone. It just created so much energy around our company. And it wasn't hype. We're a good company, but there's other good companies out there. We're just out marketing them.
You just mentioned the fabric coating as a good use for convertible top and add-on. Ricardo asked if it could be used on leather at all.
It can. So use it thin. You want to take what I like to do is you can spray it onto a towel and wipe it onto the leather, or you can spray directly onto the leather. I'm always kind of leery about spraying directly on because of over mist. So I like to saturate a microfiber with it. And then rub it on, and then go do all the seats, and then let it dry for 15, 20 minutes, and then repeat it again. So you want to put it on thin. You don't want to put it on real thick. The same with carpets and upholstery is put a couple, 2 or 3 layers on thin and keep it on upholstery on like sports seating. I'll spray it directly on, and I'll take my gloved hand and rub it in. And I just put a real thin layer on. You don't have to oversaturate it. Just put a real thin layer on. Do it all. Come back. Put a mist down. Just mist it, a very light mist. Rub it in once again, and you're off of there. You're done.
Cool. Let's see what's next. Here you go. Related. Can we use 3 to 6 months as or I guess Fernando's saying, can we say that the interior coating is going to last 3 to 6 months? What would you recommend?
Depends on what's the car look like when you get it. So if it's a trash box, if it's a dumpster, no. I would probably say 3 months. If it's a nice car and it doesn't have a lot of kid traffic in it, or if it's a car that they take good care of it, even though there are kids, yeah, 3 to 6 months. I'd say that. Anybody that's staying, and guys, we play with all the different coatings. On my cars, because I've got different cars I drive. It'll probably last a year, maybe even more. But it's very light use. The heavier the use, the faster interior coatings can come on. That's just truth in advertising. We've used them. We've played with them all. Great coatings out there. Great coatings. Not saying that it's bullshit what they're saying. I'm just saying that's the reality of interior coatings. It's not a manufacturer that's fleecing you. It's just that they're probably not doing the level of exposure that we've done. And it's not just my level of exposure. It's the 160 guys in our group that we get feedback from.
Yeah, I've got customers that, if I see their car every 6 months, for example, I'll sell them the fabric coating and tell them it's good for a year, but also tell them that's contingent on me doing a little reapplication at my 6-month visit with them.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
And I don't charge them extra for that 6-month one, but the car is staying nice. It's easier for me to clean at that point.
Absolutely.
And then they pay for it again at the 12-month mark.
Yeah, and same thing if you're seeing cars every week or 2 weeks or even every month, is just sell it that way. You get more for it, and it doesn't cost you much in product. And then again, as Chris has said, the cleanup, the car stays that much cleaner, that much longer, and it's easier for you to maintain. Also, the value, what we found is we've heard this, we back in the day when we ran shops. Chris, it's unbelievable. Did you know this last December 2nd, just a little over a month ago, it was 10 years ago that we sold our last active shop. It's unbelievable, that it's been that many years. We ran that shop for 20 years. And then it's now we had active shops. Our daughters worked in our shop, up here. But now we're just so busy with other things. We just, more of a laboratory. But I was just thinking that. It's like, wow, man, it's unreal how fast time goes.
Yep. Here's a fun one, interesting one. Cedric asks, he just purchased the new Udos, and he hasn't tried it yet, though. He wanted to know your opinion on it. And then there's a second part we can get to right after that.
It's new technology like anything. Even, I'm a huge fan of forced action technology, and it took me a little bit to buy into it. I think that what Lake Country just did is exactly what Rupes did, is they just stirred the pot that it's going to, I like it. I'm not a huge DA fan, so I don't use DA a ton. I appreciate it. It's just my preference. I love forced action. And then finishing down with the DA is great. If that's your thing. I think that the tool, it's a beast. It's a big machine. It's heavy. You got to get used to switching it over. Sometimes the gearing and so forth is a little different, but I love what it's done for the future of detailing tools. What's next now? I just think that's really exciting to think about. Lake Country just pulled the Band-Aid off and just changed the game substantially, and we'll see where it goes. So I'm still playing with it a lot. As you can tell, I'm not saying that I'm in love with it, and I'm not saying I hate it. I'm still playing with it. And so I'd like your feedback too. Anybody that's got one that's playing with it a lot, give me your feedback. I left mine. Mine's over in Arizona right now, and the Parker brothers have been playing around with it. I wanted them to have it for a bit, so it's on its way back right now. and we're going to play with it this next week. So we'll get more time with it this next week. But let us know. Send us messages. I'll put a picture of it up on social media and ask for you guys for your input on those that have used it. Those that are just assuming what you think, shut up. If you haven't used it, don't give your opinion because you haven't used the damn thing. I heard Joe Smith, Joe Bob, down the street said he liked it or he didn't like it or whatever. First-hand knowledge, guys. Don't sabotage a brand if you haven't actually done the testing. That's bullshit.
Yep. Make sure you're the one that likes it or doesn't like it.
Absolutely. And I'm okay if you don't like it and you have it. But if you don't like it and you used it once at SEMA last year for 35 seconds, that's not valid. It's your decision. For me, it doesn't justify going and sabotaging a brand because you had 5 minutes with it. For those that actually have really used the tool, either through a friend or a colleague, or at an event, at a training event, and you've got time with it, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear feedback for that.
The second half of his question, he only uses PNS products, wants to know if we offer certification for those. And I'll answer real quick. The answer is yes. We do certify people in the use of the double black line as well as the inspiration line of coatings. And you can do that at any of our one-day trainings and also at our 5-day training. But we're going to have some one-day trainings coming up. We have 4 planned for this year, and they're going to take place at all of our training centers nationwide. That's the goal. And so keep your eyes open for those. One will be probably close enough to you.
Yeah, so New Jersey, Florida, Indiana, Texas, Arizona, and Southern California. So we're going to be hosting one-day events in all those states on at least 4 different days, all the same day across the entire country. And so it's like Chris said, that one day will get you certified. You'll be able to get on the map for inspiration coatings. And we're going to turn the heat up on our coating brands. Our coating brands, we're going to really take and get a lot more advanced with the coatings and really start promoting them. So getting that cert would be probably a good thing. But you don't have to have it to buy it. You can go buy the products. We don't go that route. We think that we're far enough and advanced enough in coatings now to where a lot of people are educated on how to put them on, and they're just going to trust that you know your stuff. But if you want to know your stuff, and maybe you're questioning if you know it or not, third-party validation is not. I'm involved in that with the military. Through our search and rescue program. Matter of fact, hold on, I'm going to grab something. I just got this in the mail the other day, and this is, I'm a NASAR, National Association of Search and Rescue instructor. They had to validate me, third party, that says that I know what I know, that I know what I know. And so a lot of people talk, how badass they are, but do you really know if you're that badass? And I'll tell you, hanging out with other badasses, you find out real quick that you're really not as badass as you thought, and you become a lot more badass than you thought you could be.
Well, hey, this next question, I was a little hesitant to go after this one, only because of what you and I do here. But here comes Kevin or Keith asks, a group of us here in Florida are looking at offering training classes. My question is, should we contact the IDA and other companies we do business with to try and get the classes accredited or certified?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to ask you a question before I go on. How much training experience do you have? And so how successful are you in your business? And are you operating at a level that you right now currently and have been for a long time where you can teach other people to operate at the same level? And then what's your teaching experience? Because the hardest thing about teaching is not the skill set. It's connecting with people. I just showed you in military and everything else is that there's going to be requirements through the IDA. They won't just certify everybody. It's getting harder and harder to become a recognized trainer. And the reason why is you've got to have, we want to see that you're an educator, not just that you can detail, but you can teach. It used to be, again, we had a kind of an interaction with somebody those that can't teach. Now, bullshit. Go tell Grant Cardone that. Go tell Ed Milet that. They're guys that are now teaching other people. Is that you think just because somebody teaches, is they quit doing everything else? No. Chris will tell you that I'm one of the most entrepreneuric people in the world. I never stop. Like that is that these guys will also tell you, all the greats that are out there, whether it's in our industry or not, is that being able to do and being able to teach is not what it used to be. Is it's really, and Chris will tell you this, is it's even in the 2 years that he's been with us, we've had to hone in. We've been doing this for 15 years, 16 years this year. It'll be 16 years this fall. Yeah, hold on. 17 years. 17 years. Is that we really had to hone in our training. And it was not the training itself. It was the connecting with people. So here we are 17 years into that. And we figured out real quick that it's not just training. It's about people. I have spent 10 times more building the training company than I did building any of the detail companies. So a lot of people get into it. I've seen a lot of people over the years get into it and then get out of it. My saying is, I'd love to hear your answer to those questions. Is that I would go become a trainer for a brand, get your feet wet doing that, and then learn to train. Is because it's not as easy and it's not cheap, man. You're going to spend a lot of money and all the equipment you have to have. People aren't going to bring their. Chris, what do you estimate that we have in just investment and equipment wise in the shop?
It's $500,000. You essentially have outfitted 5 or 6 detail shops in one shop, right? To be able to train.
Yeah.
So
we probably quarter of $1,000,000 to $500,000 inside the shop.
Yeah.
And it's a criminal. It is alarming camera. So
you touched on one of the biggest takeaways that I've noticed and paid attention to over the last couple of years is that, the knowledge and the skills are one thing, but being able to make that connection with people and be an educator, that takes a special skill. Not everybody has it. So you need to make sure you do have it. The things I see you pick up on when we're at training blows my mind, because they're things that I don't pick up on at all,
Well, you got to look at, and what was the gentleman's name that just asked us? I don't want to discourage you, but I'm going to give you, a lot of people don't like hard answers anymore. Is that if I had to go back 17 years and do it again, would I? Well, yeah, because I've made some great friendships and everything else. But I think, there's a lot of, we've actually changed the game too. Rupes, Jason Rose and his team, and they've done such a great job of bringing realization to the need for education. But you got to remember, it's a small percentage of detailers. Now, I will tell you this: if you can figure out the mixture and you've got the money to put into it, and if you're going to do small groups or anything else, you're probably going to have, I'd say, 6 figures to make it happen right, because you're competing. Look who you're competing against. Is that you've got, especially in Florida, is you've got Mike Phillips down there. You've got Justin at our training facility. You've got Mustard Garage that's down there that's doing it. So you've got people to think about that they're already vested into this thing, and you're going to have to get to that level, and you're going to have to fight those fights. And I will tell you this: if you can make it happen, it's one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do. But I'll repeat it. Are you performing at a level? Why do you want to train? Is my biggest thing to training was to give back. In 2004, when we started this thing, when we started training, is Matt Williams, our first student. He contacted me off the forums. I was doing like open garage kind of trainings, kind of like what Mike Phillips. I really dubbed off and kind of copied what Mike was doing. But I was doing it for detailing customers. I was doing it as a way to bring more business into our shops, and it was awesome. And then we started going into one-on-one trainings. It took a lot of years to really hone it in. So now there's a lot of us, Jeremy Stevens at Shine Supply, he does training. There's a lot of us that have really honed it in that you're going to be able to take and watch and duplicate what we've done. That's going to shorten it down. But it's just be ready. And then also for the IDA, they're not going to just give you a certification. You're going to have to prove that you're able to train and you've got the 3 years of training experience and background to be able to have them sign off on you. It's going to be before a committee, and it's picky. I'm not on that committee. I stay out. I give them feedback and input all the time because Diane and I are one of their most active training centers of Surdium. Pretty much everybody that comes through 52, 53 people a year. We train at a very high level. And then also you got to look at is this, and we'll get off of this and onto another subject, is if you just train them and let them go, might as well not train them. Is we found out real quick is that there's got to be backup and there's got to be long-term support, and that's very difficult. We've got a lot of money invested into our private forums. We host an average of 2 live events a week for our group. It's basically going to become your career very quickly. So, but good luck with it, and reach out to us. If you want input from the IDA, I can put you in touch. I think Jason Rose would probably be another great one to reach out to. That's on the certification committee for the trainers at IDA, and he'd be a great source to dig into and learn more. Prentice St. Clair, Keith DePlessis, all those guys are involved. Justin Lobato's down in Florida. Reach out to him, talk to him. He'll give you info. So.
Very cool. Good answer. Let's see. So Chase says, we've been in business for about a year now. During COVID was not the best time to start, but we made it through. He's looking forward to their expansion and growth. What do you guys recommend as far as the best marketing strategy to continue to get business, to keep busy?
You're your best marketing strategy is go out and educate your market. Don't become an international star. Become a very localized micro star. Is start in your little area as small as you can. Don't talk to the whole state. Don't talk to the whole county. Talk to your local market. Educate them. Show them good before and afters. Explain what they're looking for. Talk in plain language. Don't market to detailers, and build relationships up. Is do it slow. Is that you're in your man? First, congratulations. It's a big. And you're right. It was a good time. It was a tough time, but it was also a good time. A lot of people had a lot of successes since March. I have never seen the amount of detailers that I know make as much money as they're making as I have the last 9 months. Hands down. It's now some people are struggling. You're a year in. You're a freshman. You've got about another 4 or 5 years of really building your company up. But doesn't mean you have to suffer that whole time. It just means that you got to build a good foundation. I love that you're educating yourself, and I congratulate you on that. But make it about relationships. Build trust into people, and then just stay micro. Don't try to be a superstar to the world. Get out there and educate the local market and talk to them.
Yeah, and I'll throw in there, to get involved with your community. Wow. We've got Oscar Hernandez in our group that came to training. He does a great job of getting involved with his local chamber and other stuff. So if you've got a good local chamber, get involved because you will be noticed. Yeah, and it's a great point, Chris. Is and also get back to your community. So volunteer. Be seen. Don't just. So many people, I always say, they take withdrawals out of the community, but they don't put deposits back in. You've got to get back to your community. You have to. And so, great job, man. Keep it up, and don't quit. There's another one. It's going to be tempting. Go get a part-time job. Man, my wife and I for 3 years, the first 3 years, is one of us or both of us were working part-time gigs to keep it going, just because we didn't know what to complete. And then the other thing is put money away. Don't go into debt. Is that this is one of those businesses that it's really tough to pull out a debt in, especially right now where we don't know where the economy is going to go. Is cash is king. Put some money away, and don't watch the other guys. There's another good piece. Don't compare yourself to what other detailers are doing. Most of them are bullshitting you. Anyway, what you see on social media is not the whole truth. And the other thing is they could be 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25 years into their game. You're not going to be at that same point at year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jim Gogan, a good friend of mine, we were talking years ago, and I've shared this story before, is that, it took both of us have been in the game for a long time. And, I have a saying is that I'm an overnight success, 30 years in the making, is that I've got the Parker brothers, man, detail boss out of Arizona. Is they're at where I was at the top of my game. They did it in probably 5 to 7 years faster than I did. That's the goal, is to get people to do it. And now there's people doing it probably 2 or 3 years faster than them. You're not going to be able to erase it. There are those just amazing people that connect and they're in the right situation and they've got the right personalities
the right market, they go out and do it a little sooner, but those are pretty odd. So just take your time, enjoy the ride, smile a lot, and enjoy life while you're building up your business, man. Don't give up your life to build up the business. I just don't buy into that. Yours truly is guilty of that. Don't buy into it. Bullshit.
Hey, here's a good one, a topic we haven't talked about in forever. Clay towels versus clay bar.
Oh, wow.
Jimmy's never tried a clay towel, but he wants to know your thoughts on it. Pros.
Oh, I love them. I love them. Is that there are a time where a clay bar just you can't compare it. We have to get them out because it just seems to dig a little deeper and a little better. If a car's really contaminated, we'll get the really good quality clay bar out. But clay towel, clay mitts, clay disc. Oh man, clay sponges are out there. They're so fast. You drop them on the ground, you can clean them up. There's just so many pros to them. It's unreal. But clay's not dead. Clay's alive and doing well. Matter of fact, Buff and Shine just introduced brand new clay to the market. So go check that out. It's pretty cool. So I don't think it's one over the other. I think it's one of those things that if you're professional, you need both.
Yeah. I use the clay mitts a lot. I haven't used an actual clay towel, but
well, we know what you're going to be doing on Wednesday, Thursday of this coming week.
It's just the mitts I'm used to. I feel like I can manage them. The clay towel's a little bigger. I don't know. It's a control thing in my mind.
I would say that the mitt's probably my favorite, and then the towels behind that, and then the disc. I used to be a disc guy, but the more I've used it, I'd probably say I lean more towards the mitt also, and then the clay towel probably right behind that, pretty close. I think I can get a little more friction on it sometimes, but the mitt I can use my fingertips and get into tight areas where the towel I just can't do it. So
yeah, well, the Rag Company recently came out with a towel, and so there must be some demand and popularity there.
And it's a cool towel too. One of my buddies stole mine. He liked it so much, so I need to get another one. I won't mention your name, Michael.
Let's see. Next one. Let's see. Chad says, I'm planning to move to the chemtrail system from P&S. Do they have an acid that he can use on chrome grills and wheels and maybe even light glass or water spot etching on glass?
They do. You need to take and be really careful, especially if you have staff with acid. I mean, I know there's a place for it, but boy, you've got to have, you can't just wear gloves. You got to wear regular gloves. You've got to use a respirator. You can't use just a mask. So I'll qualify to be safe with that first. Not sure. We'll have to get a hold of Keith. And Keith, if you're online, I'm not sure they're going to run the acid through the chemtrail system or not. If you guys aren't familiar with the chemtrail system, it's a disbursement system. It will take and properly dilute your products. It is cool. Even for serious do-it-yourselfers, there's a pro model and then a smaller model, and it's badass. But they definitely have an acid that's available. Again, just be careful with it. I'm not sure if they're going to run it through the chemtrail system or not. It's a great question. We'll find out the answer to.
Yeah, I would say try and do as much as you can without having to go to acid.
Yeah.
There's lots of products that do good stuff out there that you don't have to go that far.
Absolutely. It's a safety thing of inhaling it. And, we used it in our shops. There's only just our managers are the only ones that are allowed to use it. And even them, they cut corners every once in a while. I'd say do things that are just really dangerous. It's a dangerous chemical to be around. And again, like Chris said, extreme cases only, just be very careful.
Here's a fun one. So Ricardo asked, are DRC pads going to be manufactured by anybody else, or are they just going to be gone and out of business? And, yesterday, a white DRC pad saved my life. So
unfortunately for now, I don't see DRC coming back. For those that don't know, the Sabo family, very successful body shop out of Michigan, they developed a pad years ago, and Gary and Joe Sabo worked with us and many people in the industry. And unfortunately, we lost Gary. Passed away recently, way before his time, and unfortunately, it caused some turmoil. And I don't believe we're going to ever see it come back. It's a bummer. I found a stash I didn't know I had. Thank God. but it was an amazing pad, especially with forced action tools. And well, yeah. See, I'm a little emotional. Gary's a good guy, so it's still a little raw.
Yeah. Let's see. Got a lot of stuff came through here. I'm looking for the questions.
You bet. I wrote down while you're looking for that. Come back over, see if I've got any. We've addressed a lot that came through already. So let's see.
Yeah. Here we go. Fernando's asking about paint measuring devices. He says, what do you think of I haven't heard of this one. Next Diag intelligent paint measuring device.
Yeah. Send me over the link of which one you're using. There's so many of them on there. I think that if you're doing any kind of heavy corrections, sanding, here's the thing a lot of people don't realize that you actually, if you know how to sand properly, you're going to remove a lot more clear during the compounding step than you are during the sanding step. If you're doing heavy correction, you really need a measuring device. They can go all the way up to where, they can start out at the $100 level, and they measure aluminum and steel surfaces, all the way up to there's models that will measure fiberglass and composites and plastics and give you the actual how much of clear is actually there. Those things can be up in the range of $4,000. Is the problem that we're having with the high-end ones right now is they're not picking up because of the water-based paints. A lot of times they're not distinguishing between the clear and the pigment and then the primer or the base. And so it's the same thing. We use one that's a ETG2 electronic thickness gauge 2, and it's basically that's the name of the unit. It's a handheld unit. They make one that's a sit-on-top unit. That goes for about $300, and then they got the handheld unit that's about $1,100, somewhere right in there. And I've had two in 20 to 30 years, so they hold up, and we beat ours up bad. But I think that that unit itself, I've seen them. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of firsthand experience with them. But send it over to me if you'll email it or even text with Renny, RENNY at detailingsuccess.com. I'll look at it and get input, and I'll send you back a response. And so if you'll send that over, that we'd be more than happy to. Man, my throat's drying out. I think it's because I had a fire going this morning.
Hey, Gordon McCall's on. He says hello and thanks for what we do for the industry and Happy New Year.
Man, Gordon, if you guys don't know, Gordon, he's a one in a trillion. And Gordon has got roots going back into detailing. Was a Ferrari technician, went over to Europe, got trained. The Motorworks Revival is the kickoff for Monterey Car Week. We've been blessed. I met Gordon 20-something years ago for 5 minutes. I was so intimidated by him, I almost peed myself because I'd heard of his reputation. He'd started this amazing show up, and at the time he had cigars there too. I went to work on a jet. One of our clients that was flying a jet in to be displayed at his event. Met him for 5 minutes and was just in awe. And then when you get to know him as a human being, wow. He's just, he is so caring about what we've done in the industry and so supportive. And yet he doesn't need to be, yet he is. And so, Gordon, thank you for everything you do. Again, go check him out. Now, Gordon, you and I need to have a talk, and we need to have a talk very quickly. I've got an opportunity that I threw your name into the fire. It's something that could be a lot of fun. And so it's something we're working on. Matter of fact, I've got to finish it up next day or two. So I'm going to reach out to you because we need to have a conversation because I think we got him on the hook for something pretty cool. But look up Gordon McCall, you guys. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy.
Very cool. Let's see. I had a question about RV maintenance details here. Let me see. Where'd it go? Well, I remember what it was. I may not find it, but Victor, here we go. So he's had good success and profitable success with maintenance details and subscriptions, but he's trying to come up with one specifically for RVs. But he says most of his customers don't need to or don't want to have them washed once a month. So any advice?
That is a tough one. I think that, we've got a lot of guys that I know. Kyle Clark, this would probably be a better question for him, is that he does a lot of RVs also. And I would have to agree. I don't think that you're going to get a huge amount of calling for it, because people tend to only maintain them when it needs to be maintained. It's like kind of pressure washing the side of your house. I do it 2 or 3 times a year, 4 times a year, and that's about it. And so I won't say it's an impossible hill, but it's going to be a steep hill to climb. But you know what? Here it is. It's new terrain. It's something that's new. I'd probably be more out to work deals with the park, especially if you live in an area. If you're doing a lot of RVs, you live in an area that's probably got a lot of snowbirds coming into it, or vacationers. I'd probably be more out to make sure to work deals. If you haven't already sowed, you probably have, with those management, to where you grease their wheels a little bit, aka kick them in part of the profits, and get more business that way. And then also add on. I'd probably go after, why not sell them a coating? Correction and coating. Why not sell them a roof reseal? Why not sell them glass coatings? So polish out their glass and sell them coatings. Those are all things. Even long term, there's a lot of the big concern with RVs is long term tire dressings. And so there's some really good long term tire dressings out there that work better on RVs, because they don't get a ton of miles on them, so they don't get it's not rubbed off of it instantly, but the tires are better protected and they look better for longer. So I would say go after upsells versus probably memberships. I think it'd be better time spent.
Yeah. But if you did go after a membership, maybe instead of, a monthly wash, it could be a quarterly wash and wax, up the service a little bit.
Yeah. Bring up the value, Bead Maker we're having people use on RVs and big boats and stuff like that, is they're foam canning on Bead Maker, and it's amazing on what it does on these RVs, and it's quick and the customers love it. So that's a great point, Chris.
Yep.
Look, good luck with that, man. That'd be fun to explore a little bit, wouldn't it?
Let's see. Oh yeah, and Cedric replied to him. He says, "Hey, his customers use him 2 to 3 times a year for RV maintenance." So kind of like what we were just getting at there, quarterly.
Yeah, I think quarterly is a good. That's what we shot for. So,
let's see here. Joey, besides your line of products, what are some of your go-tos?
Ooh, wow, great question. I love so many. There's so many great products. I'd say in the training center, we still love the Sonex line. We got several of the Sonex products that are crowd pleasers that we use. Solution Finish is fantastic. We love that. It's a great add-on, and there's another add-on for faded trim on RVs, going back to that, and then even our fabric coatings for the awnings. And so there's going back to that. That just made me think of that. God, wow. The Last Cut Plus compounds have become really popular. We love them. We're having really good luck with them. We've got so many polishers in stock now. We got the full Rupes lineup. We got the full Flex lineup. We've got some of the Chinese built tools. I know a lot of people are against them, but they're actually have come up in quality. And some people can't afford, when they're starting out, to go, I had to start out with baby steps. I'd rather start out with quality than not, but we got the Griot's tools in-house that are fantastic. So there's so many great products. Chris, what am I missing? So let's go over pads. We've got Buff and Shine in-house and Lake Country. Both, we train on both, and both of them got their place. It's funny how they win. DRC was mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, that it's going to be, unless you've got stock of that, it's probably it's a done thing. Unfortunately, what else? Who am I leaving? Rag top for convertible tops is Grit Guard. Grit Guard's got so many. I use my Grit Guards for washing, naturally in the bucket, but I use it for washing towels. I use them for washing pads. I use them to set stuff. I'll set a grit guard on the ground so nothing touches the ground. I mean, grit guards are constantly in. Detailers helpers. I mean, God, I mean, it's just there's griots. I mean, we're using some griot products right now that are amazing. Some of their new professional line of compounds and polishes we've brought into training.
And we've also been testing some others products recently.
Yeah, we got some others product, believe it or not, in that on their professional line that are brand new that we kind of got to push early release on. And so there's just so many. It's a great point, Chris. Thanks. There's so many great things that are out there. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's what else? I know I'm losing the other ones. The nanoskins. I mean, we're doing that. And so a lot of people don't realize is that even in our training is that probably what percentage of products are not double black and PNS. It's probably at least half, if not, I'd say a third of it's PNS and double black, and the other 2/3 are not PNS double black, because you just can't be everything to everybody, right? And we want to show our products for the game changers, the good stuff, the ones that we really confident in, and they're all good products. But there's a lot of good products out there. There's a lot of good people that offer good products. Barry's products, we've used his coatings a ton. So SB3, I mean, we've done that. So I mean, we've got so many great products in house. It's unreal. Hope that helps. We threw a lot of names out there, but there's a lot of them not throwing out.
It's probably a shorter list is what we're not using.
Yeah. Let's take one or two more, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to boogie. I know these guys got a busy day, and I do too. And we want to take and respect their time. So
yeah, I think here's a question that just popped up. Carlos asks, "Is Dark Supreme ever going to be double black?" I've never used Dark Supreme.
Well, it's a cool product. That's a great question. Well, Carlos, we'll have to see, or we just start promoting it in the PNS line. Dark Supreme is a great PNS product. There's a lot of products that I haven't even got to. I mean, here the Odor Docs is one of our new products that's for odors. I mean, it's amazing, and it gets kind of left to the side sometimes. But yeah, it could be, it could come into that, but. We'll have to talk to Bob next time we're on a distributor call or something like that and find out. So, hey, I just got a text right now. This is kind of cool and it's kind of private, but I'll share it with you. I shared this with somebody and he just, I didn't want to say who it is. So, thyroid, I was diagnosed and I've probably had hypothyroidism for probably 10 years. And I finally started feeling bad about 2 years ago and went in and got onto doctor's care. And then unfortunately, when my mom got sick and then we lost her, it threw my thyroid. They think the stress, it just destroyed what was left of my thyroid working normally. It wasn't happening. And the meds weren't doing anything. I gained 29 pounds in a matter of 3 months, training real hard. My face is still puffy from it. I don't know if it will ever change. It's just part of life. But this person was asking because he was just diagnosed of, I won't say I found a miracle. He says I found a miracle, but I went to a blood specialist. So if anybody's got thyroidism or if you've got weight control that you're eating right and you're exercising right, is go get your thyroid checked out. If you're mentally drained, if you feel tired during the day, is go get your thyroid checked out. So I went to a blood specialist that's got me on a completely holistic program. I've lost 10 pounds. 9.5 pounds since Thanksgiving, since they started me on the program. I had Christmas, New Year's, and a vacation to Hawaii, and I still managed to taking the weight off. And the reason why is it's my chemistry in my body starting to equal out. I'm starting to get back into the gym and train real hard. My goal is another 30 pounds off. But we were talking when he was there at training, I was really starting to struggle with it about a year ago, and I just they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so go see a specialist. Don't screw around with your normal doctor, and have your blood test. And if you got any questions, if you're there's a lot of people that suffer from thyroid issues that don't know they're suffering from thyroid issues. So I'm glad it actually came up. It is private, but I think that I wish somebody would have brought it to my attention 10 years ago, and it's really changed my life. I feel so much better. I'm probably 90 or 95% my mental awareness and my feeling good and being happy and not being completely burned out, tired all the time. That's pretty much gone. Is I got very few. Now an indicator of it is my throat's dry. So and the reason why is I didn't take my vitamins this morning because I was up running around 100 miles an hour. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. But once I take them within an hour, it's unbelievable. But it's completely holistic.
Your throat's dry because you do kind of talk a lot too.
I do. And so I'm glad. I wish I could share it because it's cool. But he was just diagnosed. He's really suffering from it too. He's a good friend of ours. He's in the mafia. But if you are suffering from that, and here's the deal: a lot of guys don't get this, but they're not diagnosed with it because it's kind of a female thing. Don't be embarrassed. Go get the test done and find out what's going on with you. Because I'll tell you, the sooner that you can get it addressed, the less amount of damage that it's going to do to your body, the more that you can reverse it. My holistic doctor's saying that within a year from right now, my life will be completely different. The blood workup, I just had it done. It was only a month. My blood, you could see it. I'm not even a trained professional. You could see my blood, how much cleaner it was. I really didn't change my diet. I was eating really good. I was eating really healthy and clean. But I did change my exercise a little bit. Is that I'm doing more. I'm believe it or not, more strength training again. But I'm walking every single day. That was the add-on. Outdoor walking every single day. So I'm doing 45 miles a day, plus my workout, plus my Peloton workout. But the most important thing is the supplements they got me on. Is that they think in 6 months I'll be off the medication because the supplements will completely change my body over. So if you are suffering from that, if you got into those, have it checked. It's something that I'm really, thank God that's been the biggest problem I've had in my life so far, knock on wood. I'm blessed because there's so many people out there that are suffering from such major events. I feel like kind of a crybaby complaining about mine, but anybody that suffers from a thyroid disorder knows it ain't fun. It's also kind of scary because the COVID autoimmune, it can cause an issue and you're a little more prone to having problems from COVID if you have this. So I'm really glad right now that I've got mine in check and it's getting better by the week. So thanks for asking. And with that, these things are fun, man. I love these, and I'm going to try to get a lot more active live on social media and just doing different things. And obviously, I think what I need to do, Chris, we need to talk about some product partners and some equipment partners that we don't talk a lot about. And just do little short videos on some of the product and some of the equipment that we use some of our partners.
Yeah.
TNS. It sounds like I could probably do 2 live events a day and not run out of just products to talk about.
Yeah. It'd be fun would be a kind of walk around the shop and just talk about some of the different things we got in there too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next week when you're up here.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah. I'm gonna boogie. So you guys boogie, get back to work. Thanks for taking some time out this morning. Gordon, you're awesome, man. To have a guy that caliber on, that just, man, I'll tell you what. Wow. Go check out Gordon McCall. Google him, you guys. You'll be amazed. And he's got his grassroots going back into detailing. So if that's not proof that you can make it, I don't know what is. And there's never been a better time to utilize detailing as a way to build your dreams up, man. And you don't have to stop there. Detailing doesn't have to be the end game. It can just be the beginning game. One question I want to answer real quick that I wrote down, I didn't get to, is what's your biggest success and your biggest failure? My biggest success is what we're going to do next, is what's up. I've had so many great opportunities in life. On a professional standpoint, I never guessed I'd be doing what I'm doing with the people I'm doing it with. I never guessed that I'd worked in 30 different countries. I never guessed that I'd rub elbows with all of you and Gordon McCalls and Bob Phillips and Barry's and just all these different Billy Bogus. All these great people. all grace. I mean, it's just unreal. My greatest failure has been not feeding myself well enough and giving myself time when I was younger to go have more fun and to not be stressed and to think that I just had to work my ass off and to give up time with me and to stop appreciating me. Because there's a period of time that when you don't appreciate yourself, you can't appreciate others, or you don't do as good a job. You think you do, but you don't. And so my successes, man, I can't imagine what's coming next. And my failures is that pay yourself. By paying yourself time and giving yourself little treats, doesn't need to be expensive, doesn't need to be special. I enjoy my walks with my dog so much, my time at the gym. It's simple things that you get to go do, and you'll be a better person to the people around you. And don't let anybody rob yourself of that time, especially yourself. I'm getting a low battery. God, I used a lot of battery on this.
Yeah, my mouse battery died while we were sitting here a minute ago.
Yeah.
You know what else is low, though? You need another log on that fire back there.
Yeah, I do. So, hey, guys, take care, man. We'll be doing this. We'll try to do this about once a month, maybe twice a month, and we'll bring you some different stuff in 2021. So have a blessed day. Take care of yourself. And Kyle's trying to call through, so he doesn't pay attention to shit. So I got to call him and tell him.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon, man. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.